Warpzone is streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, and wherever else you're watching this. I'm Sean Nugent,
I'm EJ.
I'm Phil V. Real.
and today we're talking movies, video games, TV, everything. Starting with Netflix's The Adam Project, which I believe all of us watched.
Yeah, we got it.
Finally.
Finally.
EJ, you go first.
I didn't see Batman this week. I watched this. EJ, yeah.
Okay. So I'll put the caveat because I ended up like watching it yesterday, but I have this habit with Netflix that I watch it at 1.5 speed. So to me it was actually a really great movie. I aside from like the speed and everything like that, I actually really liked it. I thought Ryan Reynolds and like the kid were like, they bounced off of each other, like their energy, their wit and everything was just great. Cried at the end and in certain parts of the movie, so I'm there like sobbing. My husband comes in and is just like, what's going on? I'm like, don't worry about it, it's a sad part. And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely, I'd probably give it 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Wow, that's a lot of stars. I'll go next before we hear Sean just destroy this movie. I liked the opening. It was very funny. By the way, this is a movie where Ryan Reynolds plays a future space traveler time traveler who comes back to 2022, sees a 12-year-old version of himself, teams up with him because he's got the DNA that can unlock his time ship, and so he reunites with his past self, who's actually embarrassed of, and he meets his mom back when she was raising him, he was a handful for her, and then eventually there's a spoiler alert, but we do see someone else from his past come in too. I like the beginning of this, but I thought there really had nowhere to go as it went along. So I would give this 2.5 stars out of 4. I thought it was a good setup, interesting plot, funny Ryan Reynolds, but then the last like third of it kind of just dies off and doesn't go anywhere, unfortunately. And there are some kind of forced emotional aspects they didn't get to me. Like it's hard for me to like be able to relate to a man meeting with the past version of himself and having some nostalgia and emotion with that. To me, it just didn't connect very much, though. What about you, Sean?
I did not like this movie. It felt very much like it was trying to be like The Last Starfighter, something from the 80s, and it kind of got that feel down. Ryan Reynolds isn't quite as bad in this as I think he is in a lot of things. Him and the kid, I don't know the kid's name, but they did have great chemistry. They were really good together. The plot itself was just like so derivative, and nothing about it really clicked for me. I just couldn't get into it. Some of the action, though, I will say was really good. Once his wife, spoiler alert, joins in, that fight scene was really, really good. But it just feels like taking a bunch of pieces and shoving it all together into one milkshake that isn't good. Ryan Reynolds has played a fighter pilot before in Green Lantern. Mark Ruffalo has played a crazy, weird scientist before in every Marvel movie. It just feels like a bunch of pieces of other movies thrown together. And on top of that, the director is the guy who did Free Guy, and he's apparently doing Deadpool 3, so he and Ryan Reynolds have a thing. So to me, it was like a 1.5 out of 4. It's meh.
I'll say that the Mark Ruffalo part, I was like, great, you're gonna play another scientist. What's new here? And I can't unsee Bruce Banner, but I mean, I eventually did, and I was like, okay, well, I did like that, and the whole like, again, spoiler here of we're gonna meet the dad, we're going to meet all like the flashback. I really liked the whole like punching scene that was there of just like I asked nicely, I told you to shut up and you didn't shut up, and then like he punched him like that to me was hilarious. So I did like all of that, just even Mark Ruffalo's chemistry, because again I was kind of worried that he was just going to be Bruce Banner, but he in a way was, but then he wasn't. He was still kind of funny.
And don't forget Zoe Saldana was in there too. I mean, Sean mentioned the character, but we really do have a Marvel DC dream / nightmare mashup here, and everybody kind of is who they are, I think, their personas. But yeah, like what Sean mentioned, it really did like give me sad flashbacks, scary flashbacks of Green Lantern. And after we saw Ryan Reynolds take care of himself in Deadpool, I guess was it Deadpool the first one, the post credits where he goes back and shoots himself before he can read the Green Lantern script. You think that he would learn, but he really isn't. Like he's kind of like, to me, I like Ryan Reynolds. I like that he has a deal with Netflix. I mean, I like Red Notice. I know Sean wasn't a fan of that. I like this movie more than I disliked it, but it's kind of almost an Adam Sandler trap where they're giving Ryan Reynolds creative freedom to just kind of do whatever. And maybe there's not a heck of a lot of quality control going on here, but I mean, for something that's on Netflix, I almost give something on Netflix a lower bar that needs to clear just because it's only on Netflix. You have to go out to a theater. Probably not fair to do that, but for me, it's an okay Netflix movie, especially as a family film. And, Ryan Reynolds is funny. If you like Ryan Reynolds, you're not going to be that disappointed in this movie. And who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds, really, other than Sean?
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is a good actor. He just has played the same character in every movie since Deadpool. But, any parting thoughts on this film before we move on to our next one? Son of Fernando says DC needs new ideas.
I agree.
I think DC's doing pretty well right now, though. I like with the Batman. That seems like a solid universe reboot for me, at least. I like to see where they're going to go with this. I like that they're also bringing in an Arkham TV show on HBO Max that's related to that movie. Because to me, the earlier idea of a Gotham PD show just sounds so boring. I have no care. It sounds kind of like Blue Bloods, but in Gotham, don't care about that. So I want to see Arkham, though. I've always wanted to see more of Arkham, and I'm glad they're going to be exploring that as we go down that line.
Yeah, and I think Peacemaker is showing a very different side of the DC universe, but they had to pull in something from Marvel to get that to work out.
I'll say that I did not like Peacemaker. Didn't even finish the first episode, so it's a no for me on that one.
That hurts my soul that you won't
No.
like Peacemaker. Peacemaker has, as Sean first introduced this to me, because I wouldn't have seen that had Sean not dragged me to see it. This is to me, Peacemaker is a viral sensation because people are going and forcing their friends to see this. That's something they might not have been interested in otherwise. And the way Sean sold me on it was just to tell me that it had the greatest intro in the history of TV intros and that every show should kind of follow suit. And he's absolutely right. Like every single time I watch Peacemaker, I watch the entire intro. I can't skip it. It's too good.
Hot take. Nope. I'm going to say that's exactly what people told me. They're like, oh, this is going to be a great intro, everything. I watched it and I was like, oh wait, that was the intro? Oh, well, okay then. So was not amused by it. That did not get Eagly, I think, is the only character that I was cool. But other than that, no. I think I got first episode, I got to the whole bar scene, where I can't remember her name, but she just kind of beat up these people who were hitting on her and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm gonna tap
that's
out
like
here.
watching Godfather and thinking that the movie's about weddings, and you're just like, I'm gonna stop because I don't want to watch a wedding movie.
Yeah, but so compare the Godfather though. No,
30 minutes long.
I mean, no, I still couldn't. Godfather, at least that wedding scene, the whole conversations that they had was a little more interesting than Peacemaker. So that's my thoughts.
Well, I don't know what we can even say to reply to that, Sean. Sean, what would you say to get EJ or anyone who's stubborn like EJ to watch Peacemaker? Because they all need to, right?
Peacemaker is the new direction. If it is the new direction of DC, as it should be, I really, really think everyone should see it. John Cena is amazing, and every actor is giving 110%. You can see everyone is having fun on the set, and that translates to the viewer. It's like Army of Darkness is probably my best example, where you can tell it's low budget, but everyone is doing everything they can to have fun, and it just translates.
And I think EJ would like it. I really do if she gave it more of a chance, because the things that they say in Peacemaker are kind of things that EJ might say. If no one,
Oh, that's true.
the Peacemaker gets away with so much. Kind of like it floors you. Like, what did I just see? What did I just hear? And it's things you don't see and hear on TV. And James Gunn has total creative license to do whatever he wants. There's obviously no executive saying, "Hey, don't do that," because he does whatever he wants, and that goes all the way through to the very post credits of the final episode. And I'm really happy that season 2 is coming around too. Like, I'm much more excited for the future of DC than I am of Marvel. That's for sure. Because what did Marvel do? They gave us Eternals. They gave us
which is in my top 10, Phil. It is in my top 10 films of Marvel films. It is number 10, but I loved it. Oh, I love Sean's face.
You prefaced that with a top 10 Marvel films. That's okay. That's a low.
No, it's not okay. Because Eternals should be in the very bottom of all Marvel films, along with Black Widow.
No, definitely number 10. So, I mean, that's all I have to say. Again, I'm just watching purely for movie enjoyment. I have zero connection to like comics or, I've been watching this for like back since whoever was a superhero at one point. So I'm just here for the recent movies.
Did anybody else other than me see Turning Red? Or am I alone on that? Am I the only one that had to suffer through that one?
No, you go ahead.
I applaud you both for not having wasted your time. I actually saw it twice. And the second time it was worse because I first saw for the first time and I was like, okay, I don't like this movie. Gave it 2 stars. It's the new Pixar movie, by the way. One of the worst. Speaking of bad movies, that is kind of degrades the Pixar name. Like Luca, it just so blah, so boring, so dull. Got no emotion that you'd expect out of Pixar movies. I think it's created only to sell toys of that red panda. That's the only reason it exists. So, but then I watched it again with my kids, and they hated it even worse than I did. So, like, we just made fun of it the whole time. That was the only fun we could have watching Turning Red, just mocking the movie.
That's when you know.
So, are you saying that we just should avoid this at all costs?
Just don't watch it because it's not like why would you waste? Like, obviously, you guys weren't. Your interest wasn't spurred by the trailer. I thought the trailer was much better than the movie. I was interested in the trailer, but no, you don't need to waste your time. You could do worse than this. Like Disney Plus doesn't have a ton of original movies, so for that reason alone, if you are a Pixar completist, you got to see all the Pixar stuff. By all means, watch it. But like, there's so many options out there. Why would you make time to see a movie that you know is going to disappoint? So I don't blame you either of you for not having seen it.
Yeah, I'm like watching the trailer right now that's like playing, and I don't know, it looks interesting and everything. And I remember actually like going to the movie. I don't even remember what I was seeing, but I did see the trailer, and I was like, oh, this looks like such a cute movie and everything. But I mean, when I read your review, when I heard you talk about it, I was like, I don't know, I can't.
I wish the movie was as exciting as the trailer makes it out to be, because it's just not.
Yeah, so I guess like for you, it's not necessarily a hot take because I'm not interested. Sean wasn't interested, and then you definitely, after seeing it twice, did not like it. So
I'm just embarrassed I have seen it twice. All right, so we're gonna talk some gaming now. We don't have much time left.
We can.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Definitely, Sean. I know another dislike is you dying all the time in Elden Ring.
Yeah. Really bad at it. This footage hopefully will not show every time I die. I can't even get over that tree stump there. So.
Well, look at you, aggressive. You just go right into it, man. I love it. You're not trying to settle things with peace. You're just.
No, and that guy's just a random a merchant. I just attacked his donkey.
He's afraid of you. Look at you. You're just chasing him around.
Sean like takes a hit.
Yeah. Sean, you look like you're good at this game, man. You've been sandbagging us all along. Because when I go and fight anyone, the first thing I do is try to get away from them, which you're so aggressive. I'm always afraid to approach these people. And then I'm just doing like the same like pathetic spin attack that's not really effective. So look at you, man. You're tearing things up here.
You're surviving longer than I thought. I mean, honestly.
You guys at the same time, and you lasted. Yeah, like it wasn't smart. Like you're very Leroy Jenkins in your mentality, but I respect it, man. I respect the effort.
Yeah, it's definitely there. I'm very excited to still play. I'm still on freaking Horizon Forbidden West. So, but this is your time to shine, Sean, when it comes to Elden Ring.
I'm not shining very brightly. The only thing shining is all the blood going up in the air as they hit me.
Are you still sticking with it, Sean? Like, what's your end game with Elden Ring? Are you gonna beat it to completion? Are you gonna play it along just for every now and then? Like, what's your commitment at this point?
I turn it on every now and then. I don't know that I'm committed enough to beat it, but especially if having seen some of the bosses later on in the game that are just insane. Like, if I can't take out that one merchant guy, there's no way I'm going to be able to take out a guy who's 60 times his size and shoots laser beams. So it's just a sometimes game.
But I mean, the fact that you're coming back to it says something. Like, I might be about done with Elden Ring just because I've faced some guys I just don't want to come back to, and I'm locked in kind of like that first little zone. I don't want to venture past the opening area. I'm not good enough to. I don't have the items. I don't have enough smithing stones. So maybe I might pick it up again, and I probably will just to torture myself. But I don't think I've got the stamina, the belief in myself that it takes to advance much past what I've done. But who knows? It's just a fun game to mess around with, like you said. Pick up every now and then. It's probably going to be game of the year at this point without much competition. So Elden Ring is where it's at for everyone. So kind of just to stay in the conversation, you need to at least try to keep playing. That's what I feel about it anyway.
Yeah, how many hours do you have into it, Sean?
Like 12. I mean, I don't binge play it, but I come back to it every now and again.
Yeah, I know that we do have a coworker who's also playing it, Brooke. Do you know how long she's been playing? Because I know that she was very excited for it.
Only 50, 60 hours in it.
All right.
And I sent Sean a link to how to get like hundreds and hundreds of runes by killing a defenseless dragon. Are you going to go do that, Sean? And can you get us?
I knew about that. I found out about that. I have a couple of our coworkers were playing it, and we're just sharing that kind of stuff, just because I think the majority of us aren't very good at it. Brooke is good at it. Brooke has beat all of them. The rest of us, we're not ready. We weren't ready.
What level are you right now?
40?
Oh, okay.
I'm like very high level, but I can still get destroyed by everything.
And I'm like level 9, so I get destroyed by everything, and I just run around. I kind of treat it like it's Super Mario Odyssey, but like without as much success, unfortunately. It's a good sightseeing game. Like there's lots of things to go around and just look at and just like kind of be terrified of. Little caves to find, and bosses and wolves and always stalking you. Like it's the scary thing for me is when you're walking down a road and you hear the howl, and then there's like 7 wolves around you. How do you beat 7 wolves? Do you know how?
You just swing your sword around and
it works. That's what I do. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
I guess it's level 40 life for you.
I guess so, yeah. So, speaking of painful, let's talk about WWE 2K22 real fast, Bill. PJ, do you know anything about wrestling games?
Not at all. I mean, I've seen wrestling matches in person, and I think the last like fighting game that was to the level of like boxing in this manner was like Rocky back on GameCube.
Yeah, Sean, your wrestling matches are more exciting than mine. Mine are like me kicking the other guy in the shin a few times till his power bar goes down. You got like you got the showmanship going, man. You got the suplex, and like you're probably gonna be jumping on the turnbuckles soon, throwing him into the ropes. Like this is impressive, man. You could definitely be a choreographer.
Much later in this, we're not going to see it probably. I just start hitting the ref over the head with a steel chair because these matches just go on so long.
What's your character's name?
I don't have it here. This is one of the newer wrestlers on facing Coach Snake. So, Bill,
you looking for?
This game a little bit. What are your thoughts on it?
Wow, I didn't know you could find pool cues underneath the ring. That unlocks a lot of possibilities for me. It's like to me, it's like The Sims. It's just like you kind of like create these characters and you watch them do things to each other for sadistic pleasure. That's what I get out of WWE. I'm not a fan of modern current wrestling at all. I like the older days, like we talked about in our review, 90s, 80s. But that's what's good about this game is it brings those eras back because it kind of recognizes that current wrestling sucks. Not as many people care about it. It doesn't have the hold on pop culture that it did in those eras. So it's just kind of like a nice blending. Wow, look at you go to the ref. That's impressive, man. Yeah, beat that ref now. This is great. This is much better than Adam Project.
It's like reliving your childhood when you're playing these games and you're playing with your friends and you're just like, what can I do to the ref? I'm just gonna throw them off the hell myself.
Well, as much as we love this, unfortunately, we gotta go. But if you like this, if you like anything, Sean, what's your Twitch handle? You stream, YouTube? Oh, come on, Sean! You got to give people more.
He just does Warpzone. He's committed to the zone. He's gonna be back next week, Monday at 10 or so.
Yeah. So there you go. So we'll be back on Monday, next Monday, 10 o'clock, around 10. So hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching.